My dad's secret family crashed into my mother's empire. On my first day as a PE teacher at Westfield Academy, students warned me about Madison Harper. She's untouchable, they whispered. Her family owns half the city. During my demonstration class, Madison decided to humiliate me in front of the school board. Coach, with hips that wide, you must be built for breeding, right? She smirked, holding a trash can next to me for comparison. I flipped my clipboard face down. Built for breeding? Maybe. But apparently not built well enough to raise kids who know basic manners. Her face darkened as I smiled. This little princess had no idea she was mocking the daughter of the woman her father had been desperately trying to rob blind for 20 years. Chapter 1. Madison stood there with the trash can, having just compared it to my waist. The entire gym erupted in laughter. Even the school administrators observing from the bleachers chuckled. The athletic director actually joined in. Coach Williams, as a PE teacher, you really should work on that muffin top. But after my response, the gym fell silent. Every face had gone pale. Madison recovered first. Coach, are you calling me badly raised? She gestured toward the administrators behind us. Director Johnson just said the same thing about your waist. You insulted him too. I smiled at Madison. I didn't insult you or the director. I'm simply observing that people who obsess over others' bodies often lack proper upbringing. Madison had clearly Googled clever insults to use against me. She hadn't expected such a quick comeback. Flustered but still defiant, she pressed on. As a teacher, shouldn't you answer students' questions? Or are you just a dumb jock who can't handle basic conversation? I was more than qualified. I'd graduated summa cum laude from Stanford before getting my teaching credentials. But Madison assumed that because I'd applied for the PE position, I must be academically inferior. I met her mocking gaze calmly. Since you're so interested in body types and genetics, I suggest reading some peer-reviewed journals. Though I wonder if you'd understand them, given your vocabulary seems stuck at elementary school level. Madison's smugness evaporated. I continued, stepping on her weak spot. My knowledge is more than sufficient to teach you. Plus, as a PE teacher, I'm also quite skilled in self-defense. The bell rang. I picked up my materials and left. Madison called after me in the hallway. In a corner away from others, her fake sweetness vanished, replaced by cold malice. Coach, didn't you notice something earlier? You realized I was insulting you, right? But those administrators didn't dare stop me. Some even joined in. That's because I have connections. Apologize publicly, and maybe we can still be friends. She swayed side to side, thinking she looked cute and playful. Looking at her face, I only felt amused. A bastard daughter daring to threaten me about connections. She should ask her father how it feels to be a kept man. Chapter 2. I discovered Madison was my father's illegitimate daughter during my first week. She noticed my clothes had no visible designer labels and assumed they were cheap knockoffs. During break, she asked in a sickly sweet voice, Coach, is that Chanel's new collection? I don't think I've seen it before. I patiently explained it was a boutique luxury brand. Later, someone told me Madison was actually mocking my cheap clothes. They also warned me to be careful. The previous homeroom teacher had caught Madison cheating. The next day, she accidentally fell down the stairs and ended up in intensive care. Madison had a mysterious billionaire father. Everyone feared her. After that, I started noticing Madison's clothes. They looked eerily familiar like my old cast-offs. When our housekeeper delivered new pieces, I kept my favorites and marked the rest before sending them to storage. Soon enough, I spotted my marking on Madison's jacket. I initially suspected we had a thief on staff. Until Madison publicly humiliated me again. She pointed at my freshly dyed hair, giggling. Coach's hair is so blonde and curly, just like my dog Machi. She showed me photos to prove it. My blood ran cold. That was my dog Cookie. Cookie was the only puppy from our beloved Bichon who died giving birth. I'd bottle-fed her from day one. She was practically my child. 3 months ago, Cookie vanished. Dad claimed he'd seen her hit by a car and fall off a cliff. But he'd stolen my dog and given her to his bastard daughter. A boy with bleached hair and a cigarette approached. Maddie, this bitch giving you trouble? My attention shifted from the embroidered mark on Madison's collar. This was Tyler Brooks, Westfield's notorious bully and Madison's boyfriend. Madison snuggled into his arms. No, baby. Coach was just apologizing. She even promised to let me perform at Friday's ceremony. I laughed coldly. Friday's ceremony is too important for garbage performers. I'm sure the selection committee agrees. Madison's jaw dropped. Did you just call me garbage? I shrugged. You know I rarely lie. To students. I just tell the truth. Chapter 3. Madison's fake mask shattered. She'd always played the elegant lady, every gesture calculated to seem princess-like. But underneath, she was volatile and couldn't handle any criticism. Do you know who my father is? You're just a new teacher. How dare you cross me? I wagged my finger. Madison, your threats don't scare me. Blame your parents for raising such a useless waste of space. Your only talents are singing and dancing barely. I know Friday's ceremony will be televised statewide. You're desperate to show off. But I won't let you on that stage. As long as I'm here, forget it. Her background might be strong, but mine was stronger. Madison exploded behind my back. But she deserved everything coming to her. I'd returned from Stanford with my PhD, planning to consolidate our family's private schools into an education group. But first, I wanted to work undercover as a teacher to assess the schools. Westfield Academy was randomly chosen. Instead, I'd stumbled upon its rotten core. Westfield was a prestigious 6-year prep school. Madison and Tyler had been terrorizing students and even teachers since middle school. 6 years ago, Madison had commissioned an app to rate students and faculty on looks and wealth, dividing people into castes. Monthly, they voted for the ugliest and prettiest. This month's ugliest was Emma Chen. They'd written slurs all over her desk and shared photos of her family and home address. They'd even brought Emma's dementia-suffering grandmother to school and threw water bottles at her. The poor woman collected recyclables, so she scrambled to gather the bottles while everyone laughed. Madison had stood in the crowd, laughing the loudest while maintaining her fake concern. Guys, that's too much. How could you bully an elderly person? Emma had finally agreed to perform a humiliating dance at the ceremony just to make it stop. Emma wasn't at school anymore. No one knew where she'd gone. Back in the teacher's lounge, an overweight male teacher mocked me. Coach Williams, you've messed with the wrong person. You're doomed. Better resign while you still can. I glanced at Friday marked on the calendar, the principal's inauguration ceremony. I smiled. Thanks for the advice. I'll resign right away and become principal instead. Chapter 4. I kept my word. As ceremony coordinator, I struck Madison's name from the program. Nobody questioned my authority. Because I was already the principal. Madison was so angry she skipped class. I found her in the equipment room and dragged her back like a sulking child. Her mother called immediately. As PTA president, this mistress wielded considerable influence. She spoke in a fake refined accent. Coach Williams, being young and inexperienced, you probably don't know my husband. Madison has certain privileges at school. She has insomnia. Don't wake her if she falls asleep in class. She's sensitive. You need to encourage her constantly. She has digestive issues. Some food waste is acceptable. I couldn't help laughing. When she asked why, I replied, maybe you should have sent her to special education instead. She sounds completely unable to function independently. I glanced at Madison eavesdropping in the corner. She'd thought mommy could handle me. How wrong she was. The mistress struggled to maintain composure. I don't understand. Everyone loves Madison. Teachers and students all say she's polite and adorable. Why don't you like her? Please reflect on yourself. I spoke earnestly. Ma'am, you're delusional. Nobody actually likes your daughter. As a student, she can't even handle basic academics. The mistress insisted, my daughter is brilliant. Teachers always praised her. If she tried, she'd be valedictorian. We just have so much money she doesn't need to compete. I responded flatly, yes, why push yourself when you might discover you're genuinely stupid? The mistress wanted to curse me out. I hung up. Madison glared at me all period. Like she wanted to slice me into pieces with her eyes. She crumpled her worksheet and threw it in the trash. Her minions laughed. I leaned against my desk, looking at Madison sympathetically until the laughter died. Madison's poor grades aren't something to mock, I announced. Everyone froze, including Madison. After that, I never gave Madison another worksheet. When her friends tried sharing theirs, I stopped them. Your academic levels are too different. If she can't do the work you can, are you also stuck at middle school level? Madison lost it, tearing up her friend's paper. Her clique began fracturing. The next day, Madison changed tactics. She disrupted class, constantly breathing stink bombs that exploded in the gym, bringing in dying fish that bled everywhere. She wasn't just vicious, she was disgusting. She thought I'd be intimidated. I played a documentary about parasites for the whole class while wearing gloves to shove the fish corpse in her mouth. Madison vomited all lunch. When she harassed another student during a test, I slapped the answer key on her desk. She thought I'd surrendered until I said with disgust, others are doing calculus. You should start with elementary handwriting practice. Unless you can't even read the answers. At lunch, I caught her dumping barely touched food. I grabbed her tray and threw it in the garbage. Your mother says you're meant to be a servant. Eat less. I'd promised to be her karma. This was just the beginning. As I walked away, she screamed, do you know what Friday is? The old principal is leaving, and my brother is taking over. I stopped. The kept man had a son too. Planning to devour our family's assets, starting with the schools. Chapter 5. 2 days until Friday's ceremony. I'd planned to expose Madison's family crimes during the inauguration. Now a bastard son was trying to steal the principal position. Madison, how would a student know about such major personnel changes? Madison had been under my thumb for days. The spoiled princess who'd never faced consequences was bursting with rage. Now she thought she'd won, her arrogance returning full force. My brother isn't the only one. The entire administration is my family. Uncles, aunts, cousins all work here. Westfield Academy exists for me. Now you understand why I run this place. I'm a real princess in this kingdom. Learning about the principal bastard was shocking enough. Now I discovered the mistress's family had completely infiltrated our business. Beyond angry, I was curious how these parasites had embedded themselves so deeply. In the dim light, I said, very creative, Madison. She didn't understand my meaning. Thinking she'd played a winning hand, she returned to the dance studio to rehearse. She terrorized classmates into doing her homework. She made out with Tyler during class. Teachers gave her love letters high grades, making her read them aloud. Word spread about her brother becoming principal. Students fawned over her again out of fear. Madison held her head high, back on top. I enjoyed watching her climb higher. The fall would be more spectacular. During break, I found Madison stealing another girl's backpack. A small card fell out, merchandise of a K-pop idol named Neo. Madison threw it at the girl's head without thinking. Fat pig. Tank. Cow. How dare you like my idol? They found concert merchandise in the bag. Madison tugged at the shirt collar mockingly. Buying small sizes to squeeze your udders? Trying to seduce men? Since you love being touched so much, she pointed at a random boy. Touch her. 10,000 per grope. The boy's face burned red. Everyone jeered. Tyler hit him with a textbook. Pussy. Can't get it up? Or is this cow too ugly? Laughter echoed through the gym. I grabbed the mop and scrubbed Madison with it. I can't stand filth. Madison squealed. What are you doing? You're ruining my clothes. Tyler moved to protect Madison and swing at me. I dumped the trash can over his head and swept his legs. Grabbing a plunger, I shoved it toward Madison's mouth. Try talking now. Dodging, Madison stepped on the fallen Tyler and crashed down hard on top of him. Someone quipped, get a room, this is a classroom. Everyone laughed. I pulled the bullied girl behind me protectively. Before I could speak, she burst into tears. Not everyone in this class was Madison's accomplice. Hearing the girl sob, many students looked up from their books, unable to hide their disgust for Madison. Madison's face showed brief embarrassment. The victim's tears made Madison look like the villain she was. Flustered, she fixed her hair and approached in her fake sweet voice to pull the crying girl from my arms. Coach doesn't understand. We're friends. We're always close like this. Bullies never admit to bullying. They always find excuses. Madison wanted to be a respectable villain. Chapter 6. Oh, that's the best excuse you could manage. I smiled sweetly. Since we're such good friends, can I call you a fat cow too? Madison played with her hair. Coach doesn't understand. All the girls are like my little sisters. Emma's one too. Little sisters sometimes need discipline. It's for her own good. She pointed at the humiliated boy. The boys are like my sons. He's too shy. I'm teaching him to interact with girls. How else will he find a wife? I looked at Madison's face and smiled. You're truly deranged. I could always hit her weak spots effortlessly. Taking the two students to the nurse's office, Madison called out, Coach Williams, my patience is exhausted. Her face twisted with shadow, but I smiled back. On the contrary, I have all the time in the world to play with you. Madison flipped her hair. Why are teachers such martyrs? Always trying to save bad students. I looked at her seriously. Have you heard of anyone trying to salvage garbage? They just want it gone before it pollutes everything. Madison couldn't smile anymore, chest heaving, eyes blazing with hatred. I added casually, I know you're desperate to perform Friday because your idol Neo will be filming a campus variety show. Whoever promised you that stage without my permission, keep dreaming. After I left, Madison's meltdown echoed from the gym. She overturned desks and chairs, performing a complete breakdown. Others had to calm her down. After 2 weeks, I knew her completely. She maintained a privileged princess persona but had extreme pride. Madison couldn't study well but wouldn't admit stupidity, so she acted deliberately ignorant. Her only skills were singing and dancing. I'd taken away her only chance to shine. Madison had probably never been so humiliated in her life. Her world was crumbling. Since her sky was falling, let it shatter completely. I posted 2 announcements on the school network. First, effective immediately, establishing the Campus Violence Investigation Committee. Second, Madison Harper is the first student under investigation. Chapter 7. Westfield allowed phones, so within 30 seconds, the entire school knew. I could imagine Madison's hysteria seeing the announcement. People fawned over her because of her connections. But plenty despised her. Madison knew it too. My announcement was a public slap across her face. Within 10 minutes, her mother called again. The mistress remained haughty. Coach Williams, you want war with us? Regular teachers can't post announcements. Hacking the school network and stealing admin privileges is illegal. As PTA president, I can have you fired. I said indifferently, fire me then. But you won't escape either. She laughed confidently. What do I have to fear? You think you can actually investigate my daughter? I'm PTA president with shares in this school. I have veto power over major decisions. I responded with a flat, oh. Her shrill voice came through. Do you even understand? You young fool. The mistress thought her trump card would terrify me. My indifference stung her deeply. I hung up on her irritating voice. Madison couldn't beat me. Neither could Mommy. They desperately needed someone to crush my spirit. 2 hours later, I found the bastard son sitting at my desk. In an expensive suit, feet propped on my papers, he was tearing pages from my notebook, crumpling them into balls. A female teacher in a short skirt was ordered to pick them up. Each time she bent over, the bastard leered. I pulled her behind me protectively. The bastard examined my expression and smiled lecherously. Playing hero? She wore that skirt to seduce me. Besides, this is your fault. If you hadn't upset me, I wouldn't be here making her flash everyone. Mason Harper's face was identical to my father's. But unlike my pathetic dad, his expression radiated arrogance. Don't blame me. Blame your parents for raising you wrong. Your mother should be picking up this mess. I always found their family's weak spots in 2 sentences. Must be a talent. Mason swung his legs off my desk, spinning in my chair. A lowly teacher bullying my sister, upsetting my mother. Who gave you such nerve? Looking at your clothes, you're not wealthy. What makes you think you can cause trouble on my turf? Madison told you basically own this school. We enrolled her here to give her a perfect, protected school experience. You've ruined it. Let me be clear, Westfield Academy is the least important of our holdings. Southland Development, Evergreen Pharmaceuticals, all mine. I narrowed my eyes. Those are Azure Corporation subsidiaries. Mason raised an eyebrow proudly. Knowledgeable. You recognize them. His lackey immediately added, this is Azure Corporation's young master. Since Mason didn't deny it, I almost laughed. Azure Corporation has 2 daughters. I've never heard of a son. Are you a bastard? Mason jumped up, pointing at my nose. Say that again. Who's a bastard? I knew he wouldn't dare touch me. Whoever's triggered. These siblings were either too dense or too confident. Despite my hints, they hadn't figured out my identity. You think I can't touch you? Mason ground his teeth. My father heard about your actions and wants to meet you. I studied the bastard's sinister face. Still need daddy to back you up? Can't handle the principal position without him? Another direct hit to his weak spot. Not wanting to admit he was a useless daddy's boy. He claimed, my father adores my mother and sister. Knowing they were bullied, he flew back overnight. You'll see how powerful he is. Finally, what I'd been waiting for. The pathetic dad who'd hidden everything for years. A son my age. Looking forward to meeting him. Mason realized his threats weren't working. Being an empty shell, he was losing control. Then my phone rang. A student sobbing, Coach, Lily's leg is broken. Chapter 8. I rushed to the nurse's office to find Lily with her leg in bandages. She leaned against the bed, shaken. I went off campus to buy something. A car came straight at me. I dodged quickly, just a sprain. But I can't perform Friday. I pressed my lips together. It's my fault for not protecting you. Lily lowered her head, a tear hitting her hand. Not your fault. Madison saw me practicing secretly. She demanded to know if I was replacing her. I'm timid. I gave myself away. I'd removed Madison from the program and secretly selected Lily for Friday. To prevent retaliation, I'd arranged private rehearsals. Madison found out anyway and hurt Lily. It's okay. Performance isn't mandatory. No, it's important. It's a cultural heritage dance Ms. Chen choreographed before. She was like a mother to me. I clenched my fists. All right. I'll figure something out. But first, Lily looked at me determinedly. I want to file a police report with you. Honestly, after what happened to my friend Sophie, I both hated and feared Madison. When you first approached me about exposing her, I didn't believe you could do it, so I refused. That was my first week teaching. Madison's crimes weren't hard to uncover. Besides Emma Chen's tragedy, there was Sophie. Unlike Emma, Sophie was voted prettiest girl. Madison, jealous, spread vicious rumors about her. Sophie, already suffering from the gossip and strange looks, struggled on. She was strong, but fate wasn't kind. Madison had an uncle, the academic director, a creepy middle-aged bachelor. One day, Madison locked Sophie in his office. Afterward, explicit photos of Sophie appeared on sketchy websites. Madison claimed the female students were her little sisters. But she'd served one up on a platter to a predator. Sophie endured unimaginable trauma before finally jumping from the roof, leaving her loving grandmother behind. Lily, who witnessed her friend's tragedy, lost faith in teachers. She'd proposed that if I could get her Madison's performance slot, she'd testify. Now in the hospital bed, pale-faced Lily choked out, I wasn't really interested in performing. I planned to expose Madison's crimes on live TV if I replaced her. Now with my leg injured, it's up to you, Coach Williams. Let's just call the police. Going to the station is too much trouble. Chapter 9. As I reached for my phone, the door burst open. Someone snatched my phone from the table. Madison stood between 2 security guards, taunting sweetly, I've heard of tattletale students, never tattletale teachers. She threw my phone in the sink. Oops, fell in the water. What to do? Her brother Mason laughed behind her, our family owns a tech empire. We have phones to spare. Give her one. Madison spoke in her baby voice, I forgot the most important thing. Poor little Lily hurt her leg. I came to check on her. She minced over in tiny steps. This is what you get for trying to steal my performance. I know evil Coach Williams corrupted you. Be careful next life. Lily was clearly triggered, shaking uncontrollably. Madison leaned closer, continuing her torment. Scared because you remember Sophie jumping? You don't want to end up like her, do you? Lily clutched her head, screaming. Madison spoke faster and faster. I shouted over her, enough, Madison. Coach is finally scared. I win. I slapped her painted face. After a moment, she shrieked, "You hit me." I grabbed her hair, slamming her against the door. Madison's head swelled with a huge bump. I moved too fast for the guards to react. When Madison's face scraped against a metal corner, drawing blood, Mason exploded. "What are you waiting for?" Two burly guards seized my arms. "Brother, my face is ruined for Friday. Neo won't like me. I want to scar her face too." As Madison finished speaking, someone entered. "The chairman is here." I wondered which chairman they meant. Madison ran out clutching her swollen face, calling in her sickly sweet voice. "Daddy. Someone bullied your little girl." A familiar male voice responded. "How did you get hurt?" "Let me see who dares bully Harrison Sterling's daughter." Well. My kept father." The guards dragged me out. In the administration building's conference room, the door stood half open. I saw Madison sitting on Harrison Sterling's lap, pouting for comfort. The mistress stood beside them, accusing and crying. Mason ranted without filter. "That woman completely disrespects you. Some mongrel with no upbringing." I kicked open the door, smiling brightly. "Which mongrel?" Seeing my face, Harrison Sterling jolted. He shot up from the sofa like his ass was on fire, eyes trembling. Mason, oblivious, cursed at me. "The mongrel is your father." Harrison looked like he'd been clubbed, shocked and furious, whipping toward Mason. Before he could react, Madison's tinkling laughter rang out. "Ha ha ha, you look like a testosterone overdose. Must take after your dad." "Shut up." Harrison warned his children in a low voice, glancing at me nervously. "Daddy, why can't we talk? She has no class. Her real father must be dead. Her current dad's probably a ditch digger." Harrison slapped Madison's injured face. She screamed in pain. Mason rushed to protect his sister. "Dad, Madison's not wrong." Harrison backhanded the bastard son too. The mistress, seeing this, threw herself at Harrison. "Honey, what's wrong? Why help an outsider?" I whistled. Such marital bliss and filial piety. Harrison pushed away the mistress, wearing his usual pathetic expression. "Daughter, I don't know these people. They're trying to scam us." Harrison's desperate lie was pathetic, though. "You secretly returned early. I was so worried I investigated and found you were being bullied, so I came to help." The slapped Mason, hiccuping Madison, and floor-sprawled mistress all froze. After a long pause, Madison tentatively tugged Harrison's sleeve. "Dad, you said they'd never trace Westfield Academy. And her name is Rebecca Williams. So these bastards knew their status. But the kept man hadn't been honest with them." I lounged on the sofa. "Did he tell you my name was something else? How ridiculous. Why would my sister and I share a surname with a kept man?" Madison thought her father was a powerful CEO in an equal partnership with my mother. Learning he was just a kept man shattered her superiority complex. "You're lying." Madison threw a water glass at me. I dodged. She lunged to attack but guards restrained her. Madison screamed like a lunatic during the struggle. Despite her cruelty, she'd always worn a refined mask. "I don't understand why this devastates you so much. Is having a kept father that unacceptable?" Madison's face turned purple as she shrieked at me. "I'm not at the bottom of the food chain. My father doesn't depend on you. I'm a proper heiress just like you." The words didn't hurt me but deeply insulted Harrison. He fumed, slapping Madison again. "This is your sister. Stop your hysteria. Apologize immediately." Mason charged over, shielding Madison. "Dad, you always spoil her. Why help someone else today? By age, she's youngest and should be accommodated." I found it hilarious. By age she's youngest, by status you're a mistress's son. Sometimes you had to put illegitimate children in their place. So what? Your mother's unloved's the real homewrecker. You don't know your mother's assets have already been transferred by my father. Mason's words enraged Harrison. He kicked the bastard's knee. "Who asked your opinion?" "Becca, don't believe them. I only care about you, your sister, and your mother. They're just playthings. Be good, don't tell your mother." To show sincerity, Harrison pushed Madison forward. "Apologize to your sister." Madison refused, rolling on the floor. I fingered a teacup. "I don't want her apology. I want her in prison." Chapter 10. Before, when I'd said this, the incompetent Mason and Madison would never have believed it. But now they knew I was Azure Corporation's second daughter. I absolutely had the power to imprison them. The blood drained from their faces. Harrison knew I always kept my word. He rubbed his face. "We're family. They're my children too. Don't make this ugly." I raised my voice. "Am I making it ugly? Ask your bastard daughter what she's done. These two defective products were just lording over me 30 minutes ago, claiming to be Azure Corporation's heirs, bullying students and teachers. We do charity while they accumulate bad karma. I'm doing you a favor sending these bastards to prison instead of dealing with you too. Be grateful. You know I grew up abroad without much sense of family. Push me too far and you'll regret it." Whether my words intimidated Harrison or not, Mason and Madison finally realized disaster had arrived. Mason slumped against the wall, legs giving out. Madison fell to her knees, crying hoarsely. "Daddy, don't abandon me. I'm sorry. I don't want prison." Harrison's eyes bulged, unfocused. "Rebecca, they're your siblings. Must you be so cruel? Can't you spare them for my sake? They're my children." Fine. You don't have to acknowledge them, but I won't abandon them. Since you hid your return from your mother, stay here a few days. I'll ensure you're comfortable. I realized his plan. You're locking me up. Harrison went all in, just 3 days until completion. Remembering Mason's slip about asset transfer, alarm bells rang. Harrison Sterling, what are you planning? With my mother? Greed gleamed in Harrison's eyes. I've endured 20 years of humiliation for this. One more step and Azure Corporation is mine. Someone rushed upstairs with urgent documents. Harrison signed carelessly and slapped them against the person's chest, dismissing them. He ordered the guards, lock the door. Don't let her ruin my plans. Madison, seeing me defeated, regained confidence. Looks like I'm Daddy's favorite daughter. Mason flipped me off. Weren't you investigating my sister? I'm becoming principal now. I'll drive those witnesses to suicide. Chapter 11. The conference room overlooked the field where TV crews were setting up for Friday. Madison pranced around in an elaborate dress like a butterfly. Everyone who saw her gasped in admiration. She'd bragged to me yesterday about making her idol Neo fall in love at first sight. Her mother had hired millions of social media bots to trend her as a campus beauty for her debut. They'd secured an agency 6 months ago, waiting for today's moment of fame. Honestly, Madison's dancing was mediocre. But surrounded by praise, she developed delusions. On stage, she flipped her huge skirt with no technique, all effort in her facial expressions. When cameras caught her face, her twisted features magnified grotesquely. Utterly cringeworthy. Though some questioned online, paid commenters quickly pushed her trending. Bots praised Madison as an aristocratic beauty. Rumors spread that she was an heiress. Netizens played along, ironically worshipping the princess. Madison quickly caught Neo's attention. Busy in the crowd, Neo caught Madison as she nearly fell. Cameras captured him steadying her elbow, sending shippers into overdrive. The principal inauguration was beginning. Luxury cars arrived steadily at the gates. Reception teachers whispered uncertainly. Many arrivals weren't on the guest list. These strangers, though unfamiliar, were clearly wealthy and important, not people to offend. After days of rain, the sun finally broke through. When Mason took the podium with his appointment letter, sunlight spotlighted him perfectly. Reading a ghost-ridden speech, he received thunderous applause. Just 15 minutes earlier, Mason had found my appointment letter and shredded it before my eyes. Rebecca, now you have no appointment. This position is mine. You've completely lost. Not yet. You've lost. When Mason prepared to read the appointment letter, the MC interrupted from below. Thank you to sponsor Mr. Sterling for speaking. Now please welcome Lily Chen's dance performance. Mason froze. He looked around frantically for an explanation. How had the principal become a sponsor? He tried to find someone to complain to, but his mic was cut. Forcibly muted, Mason had to leave the stage. Lily emerged gracefully, dancing despite her injury. Her piece portrayed a butterfly wounded in rain. It wasn't coincidence Lily had prepared for injury when agreeing to perform. Mason clutched his appointment letter, searching the field. For Harrison. Harrison arrived quickly. What happened? How are you a sponsor? I don't know. Dad, you said everything was arranged. Harrison surveyed the area, cursing, useless idiots. How did they mess this up? Father and son huddled under a tree. I approached in a sharp suit. Looking for this? Harrison doubted his eyes. Rebecca? How are you here? Mason saw my appointment letter and snatched it. You think forging an appointment letter works? Without the official seal, it's meaningless. I showed the seal at my waist. You mean this? Harrison stared. How do you have that? Mason reacted. Weren't you locked in? Who let you out? Security. There's a lunatic here. I tucked my hair back. Don't bother. Your sister didn't mention. I'm the PE teacher. Harrison slapped his forehead. Damn, she knows martial arts. I smiled helplessly. You still don't know me well. I didn't fight anyone. The twist had arrived. I didn't need to. My sister Victoria Williams appeared in a white designer suit, spike heels clicking as her security detail flanked her. Dad, trying to outsmart me? You'll need another 50 years. I've eaten more salt in business than you've eaten rice. My sistered lips, waves of black hair, fox eyes radiated power. Standing on the lawn with crossed arms, she embodied a queen. Her presence reduced the blustering Mason to a trembling chick. If seeing my sister did this, meeting our mother would destroy him. Though Harrison retreated at the sight of Victoria, he tried maintaining composure. Vicky, how dare you speak to your father like that? My sister saw through him. Spare the family card. You think I didn't notice you transferring assets? Harrison sweated profusely. Since you caught me, I'll be direct. Though the company's in my name now, you're still my blood. I won't mistreat you. How pathetic. Even his threats came with nervous sweating. Victoria turned to me. Did I mention he's not our father anymore? I shook my head. She smiled sweetly at Harrison. You're divorced. Harrison went pale. What? I never divorced. Victoria shoved a tablet in his face showing divorce papers with his signature. The day Harrison locked me up, he'd been so angry he'd blindly signed documents. He'd signed our mother's divorce papers without reading them. Mason brightened. Perfect, Dad. Now you can marry Mom. She's finally getting her due. Harrison slapped the bastard. Idiot. How can I transfer assets after divorce? Indeed, all that asset transfer effort, but you divorced early. The money's not yours anyway. Complete waste, Victoria said, scrolling through documents. Your actual settlement is here. One small property. For families like ours, basically nothing. Harrison nearly vomited blood. This is outrageous. Unable to speak further, he almost fainted. The stage music stopped. The MC called my name. Please welcome the Pinnacle Education Group CEO to speak. Mason's face showed complete confusion. What Pinnacle Education Group? I pointed to my waist seal. You wondered why I have this? I'm Westfield's acting principal and Pinnacle Education Group CEO. Recently, I'd consolidated several schools into Pinnacle Education Group. Those unfamiliar faces were all principals from Azure Corporation's private schools. Under countless spotlights, I took the stage triumphantly. Madison was taking selfies with Neo when she saw me. Her expression cracked. She sensed impending doom. How could I waste this opportunity to destroy her? I knew rival companies had sniffed out Madison's illegitimate status, planning to use her against Azure Corporation. Better I handle this, family justice, myself. During my undercover investigation, I discovered numerous severe bullying incidents. As Education Group CEO, I'm launching our first campus violence investigation committee regarding student Madison Harper's 6-year reign of terror. I'll personally chair this committee to demonstrate our commitment to eliminating toxic campus culture. The screen showed anonymous testimony about Madison's crimes. Voice-modified recordings played through speakers. She used horrible slurs against me. I saw her lock Sophie in the office. Everyone knew the academic director was a creep. Girls couldn't wear skirts in his class. Sophie's photos were all over those sites. Many boys admitted seeing them. She posted bounties in group chats for whoever could drive Sophie to suicide. She directly caused Sophie's breakdown. Madison stared at the screen in horror. She screamed, "Stop. It's fake. That's not me. I didn't do anything." Her self-promotion had backfired spectacularly. Internet users expecting a campus beauty story witnessed a bullying trial instead. I'd given Madison what she gave others public humiliation with. Only her bangs censored. As I presented evidence, Madison panicked. Remembering Neo behind her, she turned desperately. "That's not about me." Neo rolled his eyes and left. Madison's psychological defenses crumbled. She became hysterical, sobbing uncontrollably. She smashed broadcast equipment in a frenzy until she tripped on her dress, face-planting in the sand pit. Someone helped her up. As she started to thank them, they slapped on handcuffs. Madison fought violently. "I didn't hurt anyone. You can't arrest me." Assault charges were hard to prove, but I'd reported her for theft. Specifically, dog theft. And my valuable clothes. Remember those markings on my clothes? Madison's mouth gaped as she screamed, "This is false arrest. I'll sue. My family has power. Do you know who I am?" Seeing the contempt on surrounding faces, she panicked and tried explaining, "I didn't steal dogs. I bought my clothes." She's the fake. Lily, now knowing my identity, couldn't stand Madison's slander. "Explain the markings on your clothes then. Every piece has them. Stealing clothes and flaunting them to the owner, where's your shame?" I watched Madison get dragged to the police car. The live stream captured every humiliating moment. Her brother Mason couldn't escape either. Both he and Harrison were arrested for false imprisonment. Theft and false imprisonment were just the beginning. First arrest them, then investigate thoroughly. Chapter 12. Madison wept in the police car while the field erupted in genuine applause. Louder and more heartfelt than ever before. After the ceremony, my assistant gave me a list of Madison's bullying victims. Azure Corporation spanned industries, making these acquired private schools insignificant. If I hadn't coincidentally studied education abroad and impulsively decided to create an education group, we might never have noticed these cavities until they caused real pain. I regretted arriving too late. Calling my mother overseas, she expressed similar anguish. Harrison Sterling had played the pathetic fool perfectly, deceiving our entire family. His acting fooled even my shrewd grandfather, who'd insisted on choosing him as my mother's husband. Even now, my aunts and uncles struggled to believe the evidence. Nobody expected such ambition from someone so seemingly pathetic. Or that he'd raise such monstrous children. The Williams family had devoted itself to charity, donating countless millions and helping hundreds of thousands. Our century-old family business survived because our ancestors taught us that wealth from the people must return to the people. Money wasn't ours, it belonged to society. We followed this creed religiously, never daring evil. Yet Madison and Mason had terrorized schools behind our backs. The worst parasites thrived under our noses. I closed the victim files. Effective immediately, I established the Pinnacle Anti-Bullying Fund to provide lifetime compensation to victims. 6 months later, Mason and Harrison's sentences were finalized. Only Madison remained under investigation. She screamed in court, "How is that bullying? Just jokes. She was mentally weak, how is that my fault?" I hadn't planned to see her, but hearing this, I visited the detention center. "Madison Harper, remember when you asked if I was calling you badly raised?" I scratched my ear. Leaning close with a huge smile. Seeing me smile, Madison stopped cursing. She shrank back as if seeing a ghost. Because every time I smiled, she suffered. My grin widened like a starving person seeing food. "Never mind, fake sister. We have all the time in the world. After all, lives lost must be accounted for carefully. You'll stay here forever. Amazing what expensive lawyers can do. Finally experiencing how real money works, aren't you?" I returned her previous taunts verbatim. Being born rich is technical. Born well but ending in prison quite. The achievement. Better luck next life. Leaving detention, a small dog ran to me. Thank God, this was really my cookie.